Are you seeing that on the ERP side? Like on when we get to L3 and above, are you seeing a change in, or at least signs of change? Are you encouraged that the big players are going to move more open and more agnostic, or are you, do you have reason to remain frustrated and despondent, if I'm being honest with you?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have a good answer. I sometimes, I guess what I'll say is when I see signs of hope, like I'll give you an example. SAP, when SAP started acquiring other vendors, and because backing up a minute, SAP has been known historically for being like, they develop their own products. It's an integrated suite of products. And it's sort of like you're all in or you're not, with SAP. Right. In recent years, over the last 10 or 15 years, whatever it's been, they went out and they acquired Concur and Ariba, SuccessFactors on the HR tech side. So they sort of seem to be acknowledging that we can't be everything to everyone. We can't fill every nook and cranny of the business. And so they went out and acquired these companies. But what it's done is it's created this sort of it's almost like they're in this no man's land now where they've got their core S4HANA product, which is still their core ERP, but then they've got Ariba, SuccessFactors, Concur, all this other stuff, right. Business objects on the BI side. They've got all these different solutions now, sort of a best of breed, but they're treating it and selling it the same way they always have with their core product back in the day. Right. And it's sort of creating the worst of both worlds now. Now they've got this best of breed sort of thing. They're keeping other third party, like they are not open to an alternative to SuccessFactors, let's say, or Ariba on the procurement side. They're not right. They're not the ones that say, oh yeah, buy S4HANA, but yeah, you're right, Ariba is not a good fit. Why don't you go a different direction? They're not going to do that. Even though it's a totally different system, you still have to do a ton of work to integrate those two systems. It just happens to be owned by SAP. But despite that, they'll still say, no, you want one throat to choke, one single solution, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be the ones to say, but wait, it's not a single solution. Just because you own it doesn't mean it's a single solution. So right. you see signs of maybe acknowledgement that maybe there is a better way, but then they sort of revert back to their old ways. Honestly, I think it's going to take people like you and I and others in the industry to keep growing, and this movement has to get to the point where it's like, hold on a minute, we're out of touch with the market now. I think that's what it's going to take for SAP. And I can't help but think about IBM starting back in the 70s and 80s, where they had a lock on the enterprise tech space with mainframes and all that stuff. And where are they now?
And where are they today?
Yeah. Same with Bond. SAP didn't invent, ERP software as we know it. Is actually Bond. And where are they now? They're dead. Infor owns them now, and they're trying to get everyone off Bond onto one of their newer products. So I right. wonder, I have to wonder with SAP, if I'm them, I'm thinking this is like a survival thing. Like, we've got to do this to be able to survive and not become the next Bond or the next IBM iSeries or whatever.
Well, think about it. I use this analogy when I'm talking to people about how the market has shifted. In the old days, you could sell somebody, shit in a box if you were a really good sales guy.
Right.
And they wouldn't realize what they had for quite a long time. But that's not the world we live in today. Think about it. When you download a new app on your, if you got an iPhone, right? And you download a new app, and that new app is designed to do one of two things for you. It's either function or entertainment. Okay, so let's stick with just the functional stuff. If you don't get value out of that app the first day you download it, what do you do?
Just stop using it.
You nuke it. Right?
Yeah,
you don't keep it for 18 months and maybe I'll use it one day. No, you nuke it. You never go back to it ever again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at IBM Watson, for example. Right. IBM honestly should rebrand, in my opinion. I don't think that the IBM name, I think they think it means something, but I know that to me, when I hear IBM, I don't think innovator, even though Watson is groundbreaking innovation. I don't think innovator because they damaged their brand with the way they approach things in the 80s and then in the 90s. But even IBM doesn't approach, we must provide value immediately. Imagine if you had to buy a new phone for every app you had to download.
Right.
Imagine you needed to buy a new phone for every app you had to download. What's the first thing the market does when an app on your smartphone, because what is digital transformation? It's building a smartphone for a smart factory, single pane of glass, all single source of truth, right? All functions in one place. Think about it when an app comes out and it's supported on Android, but it's not supported on iOS, or the other way around. Nobody uses it.
Right.
No one uses it. You at the end of the day, if you're not thinking about how does my solution fit into a much larger ecosystem that I don't control,
Right.
one I don't own, okay, but where does my solution fit in a much larger ecosystem? If you're not thinking that way, you're dead.
Right.
That's what I say. I literally just say you're dead, right?